Are cover letters important? This is one of the most frequent questions we get asked by email. Really what people are asking is, can I opt out of the hard work of doing a cover letter? And make no mistake about it, writing cover letters is hard work. So it's a very fair question to ask. I'm Jenny Rae, the Managing Director of Management Consulted, and I'm here to tell you why cover letters have not gone away, why they're still important, and why you need to have a great one when you're prepping for your consulting interviews. I'm going to focus on a couple of main aspects of what the firms are looking for in the cover letter, how they use and evaluate cover letters, and how you build a great cover letter in this short video. Number one, when you're thinking about how to build a great cover letter, there are a couple of key elements that you're always going to want to make sure are there. Number one, firms think about cover letters as a writing sample. And so you have to make sure that your grammar and your language is authentic in your voice, but also perfect. There can be no grammatical mistakes, no punctuation mistakes, no misspellings, no double spaces where there should be single spaces. It has to be grammatically perfect. Number two, it has to be vivid. The firms are looking for your ability to write in a way that brings something to life, and they're not going to train you in how to write. They're expecting that you're already a great writer. And so how do you articulate yourself in a way that brings yourself to life? That's going to be the second really important thing. Finally, every cover letter has three main components. It has an introduction, it has an explanation of up to 3 key highlighted experiences, and it has a description of why you want to work for the firm. And all 3 of those things need to be there. Many people actually, instead of highlighting their experiences, do a laundry list of experiences, and that's a huge mistake when you're preparing your cover letter for any organization, but especially for consulting. Now, how do firms actually utilize cover letters in the recruiting process? Well, this is where the misinformation or the question comes in. There are a few firms that don't use cover letters, and they tell you not to submit them and they don't want to see them, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. McKinsey is one of them. And if you're only applying to McKinsey, if that is literally the only firm you're applying to, don't submit a cover letter. McKinsey cares about your resume, and they know that the cover letter is going to be solid if your resume is crushing it. But other than that, every other firm, if the cover letter is optional or if the cover letter is requested, you need to do it, and it needs to be fantastic. And how do the firms use them? Well, at Bain, for example, we use the cover letter as one of our first screens. So rather than looking at somebody's resume first, I would actually look at a quick paragraph of their cover letter. And if it was unintelligible, I would be like, beep. If it was boring, beep. So even if they had an amazing resume, if their cover letter was vanilla, flat, bleh, just became an uninteresting part of the application process. I just was like, nope, I'm not gonna take this person. And so we used it actually as a primary filter. Then when everybody gets into the room together, the cover letters become tiebreakers. Sometimes you're gonna find people with 2 pretty great resumes. They've got a 3.7 GPA. They've got a couple of good leadership experiences. They've got decent work experiences. And you're like, they're really solid people, but we only have one spot. What makes the difference? The cover letter is what makes the difference. Somebody who's really clear, very direct, and very vivid in explaining their stories is always going to win out over somebody who just recaps their resume inside the cover letter. Finally, some firms are using an increased amount of AI when they are responding to their applicants, and especially if you're doing like a Big 4 application and they're submitting online and you're trying to figure out what you should be doing. In Big 4 applications and other large organizations where AI is starting to be used, the cover letter is actually used to assess your grade level of writing. So if you have a grade 10 level of writing versus somebody who has a college grade 2 level of writing, they're gonna look at that. Now, they're not looking for words, vocabulary words that you have to look up. They're looking for plain business speak. But there is something to be said for actually having a strong amount of articulation. Finally, how do you build the perfect cover letter? Well, we have a lot of practice at this, and we'd love to work with you if you're interested in building an amazing cover letter. We actually find it's usually helpful to have somebody from the outside take a step back and take a look at what your story is. But what we do is that we actually have people write a few stories. That's the first thing. So we say, give us 3 stories about a time that you crushed it. Ideally 1 education, 1 work experience, and 1 extracurricular leadership, whether at school, in your community, or at work. And once we hear about those stories, we place them into the context of the broader story of your resume, such as I went to the school because, and I decided to do this internship because. So we build bridges in the story, starting with the stories as the anchor, we build the bridges as the story. And then on top of all of that, we layer one singular paragraph that we call Why the Firm. And you write one for one firm, and then we tweak it. So we make sure that that particular paragraph is nailing it, that it's authentic and clear, that you're referencing a conversation with somebody, not just stuff that they put on the website. And then we give you the model for doing multiple different firms from there. So ultimately, if you're gonna do this on your own and at home, just do the same thing. So start with stories, 3 of them. That's the beginning. So don't set up the whole page and start to write stuff, start with the stories. Then build around the stories, what else they need to know. Who are you? When are you graduating? What is a key focus area or skill? And why do you wanna work with the organization? And then finally, make sure that you put it all together and ideally review it with someone. If it's not us, please, please, please have these reviewed by someone. We would hate to see you put blood, sweat, and tears and toil into this entire exercise and then not even get a call back. Ultimately, we've had great success helping people with cover letters. It's one of our favorite things to do to make your stories come alive. So if you've got questions and want help with your cover letter, reach out to us for more articles and also for help at managementconsultant.com.